In this segment I will show you some things you can do with the large Elinchrom octa. The wonderful thing about the octa is its size. You can choose to place it in front of your model, like here, and get wonderful soft light with a very nice shadow side, and it will also light up your background. Here you can see the setup in the studio. Of course there are more lights now because we are filming this segment, but normally the octa will give the only light available for these kind of shots. By changing the position of the octa to the back, you can get a very nice low-key effect without changing anything else. The background will now also go completely black because there's no more light hitting it. So during a session with only one slight change of the octa, you can get a completely different shot. You can use lights from the front or side, but you can also use it like you see in this example. You can place your model right in front of your light. Due to the size of the octa, it will really wrap around your model. When used with a less strong setting, as I've done here, and with lights from the front, you can even use it as a white background. The shots I take here are very nice for glamour settings and work great in black and white, as you will see in the final result. I've changed the octa back to the side position of the model, pointed slightly towards the camera, and I have added a small white reflector. The nice thing about the octa is that it's so big it will almost always hit the reflector you place. With smaller softboxes it's often more difficult to place your reflector exactly the way you want it. In this example I've placed the reflector so it opens up the shadows just a little bit. Normally I would rather opt for a more strong accent light, but for this segment I want to show you what you can do with just the octa, so no extra lights. And this is the result. As you can see, it just opens up the shadow side. Here you see a setup you would probably not think of right away. I removed the translucent material and I will stand in front of the octa, meaning the light will hit my model from behind me. This gives me a very nice soft light. It looks a bit like a ring flash but less harsh. By removing the translucent material, the contrast of the light is also raised. Here you can also see the big selling point of the octa. Because the RX unit is mounted backwards into the octa, you will get an incredibly even light. Normally a large softbox will have some sort of hotspot. The octa will not due to displacement of the strobe, which is very important for full bodies. And here you see the results. Photography can be make-believe. Sometimes a picture will let you think something is different than it was in reality. In this setup I used a curtain and some nice structured material to give the illusion of a beautiful girl standing in front of a window. It's very important in this setup to measure your light very exact and make absolutely sure you don't blow out the material in front of the softbox. The perfect way to light this is to create the illusion of a blown out window but still seeing some of the material. Make sure to check on your monitor if the lighting is perfect. A calibrated light meter is of the utmost importance with this. And here you can see the final result, and you can see that the material is still shown, but the illusion of a window is there. This setup is something I use a lot in workshops, and it can't get much simpler than this. By combining the RX unit with the octa, I can work on wide open apertures in the studio on ISO 50. The RX has a very nice range to work with, and the 600 I use here can drop down to a very low output, which is perfect for working with wider apertures. This way, when combining it with a longer lens, you get a stunning depth of field in the studio, where people will think the shot is done in natural light. Make very sure you have the eye sharp in focus before you take the picture. When working with wider apertures, it's incredibly important to make absolutely sure the eye closest to the camera is sharp, because the rest of the face will be blurred by the depth of field. And people have to be automatically drawn to the eyes, so make absolutely sure you take very good care of your focus. Finally, I've added one accent light. For me personally, this gives a wonderful effect and gives a lot of depth to the picture. Look closely how the model changes her poses until we find the perfect lines in the pose. It's almost impossible to feature all the possibilities the large octa gives you in the studio. In our studio, it's one of the most versatile units. To give you a small impression what you can do with the octa combined with 1 or 2 extra lights, I've made a small slideshow which you will see at the end of this segment. Look at the pictures and try to recognize the tips I gave in this video. Also take note of the wonderful light in the full body shots. For me, the large octa is the choice for the model photographer who wants a window quality of light. Enjoy the slideshow.